Hey guys, this is Tori Townley. How's it going?
And I'm
Dad.
Dan Ohlerking.
What's up,
With my
people?
favorite daughter.
Hey. So as you all know, or if you don't know, this is the Serve Brew. We have been doing this pretty much every week for about how many months? I don't know, 3 months, something like
18
that.
years.
Just take a coffee break. Usually it's on a Monday or a Thursday, whatever you feel. But we are, as a lot of you guys know, we are coming off of our big Serve Day 16. We saw so many churches, many of you guys were part of it, just come together and really do something to change the world. It was phenomenal. So we just thought that it'd be fun to take a little bit of time and do some highlights, do some just reflecting on all that God did and talk about some ideas and what we should do moving forward.
Yep.
So I brought Dad in because actually on Serve Day, we were together looking at the hashtag Serve Day 16, which blew up like crazy.
Yeah.
Literally, I think we were on it for 18 hours
about,
or something crazy. Started at 3 a.m., not even kidding, and just watched, and it was a crazy thing to keep up with. So it was pretty miraculous.
In fact, we got locked out of Twitter. It was
We
awesome.
did.
The Servolution account on Twitter got shut down because of liking too many pictures all at once.
They thought we were spam.
Yeah, that's
Spam-olution.
We just love so much. That was fun though to watch what you guys were doing. Those of you that did Serve Day to see how much fun you were having doing it, and that was just cool. That was a cool thing.
It was cool. So just in case we've had a few people ask, like, what are some of the stats from Serve Day? And personally, I'm like, all right, stats, whatever, stories are everything. But stats are important because they represent people. So just so you guys like get a big picture of what you were part of. A lot of you guys have been sending in your stories and some of your numbers, and that's amazing. We really appreciate that just to see everything. But we are roughly estimating, this is a very rough estimate, we've had about 35 to 40,000 people who actually joined in to serve on that day.
That's crazy.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. I can't.
Some towns that were being served had less people in them than the total number of people serving
I
that day.
can't fathom that number.
Yeah.
So that's a general idea of what we're estimating. And we had 308 churches officially sign up to be part of this day, and we know there were more that we kept finding throughout the day that maybe didn't have a chance to sign up or heard about it last minute. In fact, one church told us that they posted on social media. I'll give them a shout out. They posted on social media that they were doing Serve Day, and another local church saw it and showed up with a team of people to serve with them. So
cool.
It's pretty neat.
That was pretty cool.
And then we had just kind of an idea of the scope of what we did or were part of. We had 43 states in the U.S. be part of it, churches within that, which is pretty incredible. And then we had 11 international locations. So some of those were church campuses, some of those were churches on their own, and some were mission teams traveling. So 11 international locations across 8 different countries. 3 of those were Australia. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then just on the social media perspective, we had 11,000 posts on the hashtag on Instagram. I think it was 85,000 talking about it on Facebook, whatever that means. And I think over 1 million impressions on Twitter, which to me, I don't know what that means, but it means a lot of people are talking about good things. So that's cool. It's exciting.
And the fun thing about that too is you had like the guys in Australia, Louis Bonifacio, the guy that basically got to kick it off on the clock. But what some churches that signed up, what it represented was actually more like 50 churches or 50 communities that are being served. I know, Church of the Highlands, when you look at it, we counted it as one city, but there's 14 cities that are being served in that. So it was a lot. The numbers it's tough. It's tough to come up with numbers that make sense. But just when you think, hey, there's 50 of us went out in our town to serve, when you hear that, you realize, wow, we're actually part of something much bigger than as big as what we saw. It was even bigger. And that to me should be encouraging. Yeah,
it's pretty insane. It's like Inception. Just layers and layers of that means this, means that, butterfly effect. It's insane. It just makes your head hurt. So it's cool. Anyway.
About you, Tori.
Sorry, I get tripped out easily. In a good way. That's why I'm here. So, okay, next kind of topic was just going through, like, we've created a little bit of a share your story kind of form. So if you're a pastor or a leader, it's not too late to send that in. If you go to Servolution on Instagram, you click the link in bio, there's a little form. We just do a little questionnaire because we really want to hear how it went for you guys, celebrate stories, and then also hear feedback, like what's something that you could have done better, you feel like your team could do better, what did you learn? Because that helps us know, like, what can we do to help support that? And y'all, some of the questions we've seen are like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. And then also just asking, what are some resources that maybe we didn't provide this year that we could? So that stuff, we want to hear the wins, we want to hear the stories, we want to hear everything. So thank you to the ones who have filled that out. But if you haven't yet, it's still not too late. It's never too late.
So the link, if they want to go to, how do they get to that link?
You can either go to, it's on the Servolution Facebook page, and it's also on Servolution Instagram in the bio.
So if you go to Facebook and search Servolution, or just facebook.com/Servolution, it's right there. That's probably the easiest.
Yeah, probably so.
Yep. Very cool.
So I just wanted to breeze through a few of my favorite ones. I've been like reading through them and highlighting them over and over, but just want to give a few shout outs and some cool things we've seen, and chime in if you get like, wow, that sparks something. So World Outreach Center, shout out to you guys. One of your projects that you did, actually, y'all are the ones that had the church show up because of your social media. It says, we serve breakfast to all of our first responders and to our local jail. We also cleaned, painted, and did work on our local city. We cut grass, did maintenance work for widows. The most amazing thing was that when we showed up at the local park, a Baptist church had seen our social media and brought a team of young people to cook us breakfast. That was amazing. It was a great day. So
that's cool.
They served them serving.
You know what? One of the things just in that, I knowing Pastor Frankie Powell and the way he leads in that community, it's a community mindset all year long for him. That's and the love he has for other pastors, I'm sure, somehow had something to do with them feeling safe to come and say, let's be a part of that.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
World Outreach Center is the World Outreach Center.
Go get him, Pastor Frankie. You're
Alabama.
The man. You're the man.
Alabama. That's awesome.
Anianta.
Oh, man.
Took me a long time to figure out how to say that.
Yeah,
I had to ask Pastor Frankie.
Try.
He's the one who gave it to me.
I was like, Anita. Outreach Center. Okay, another one, the Rock Church, Pastor Blake Malone saw. That's pretty cool. Just one of their cool highlights was a 50-year-old man gave his life to Christ. He said he was tired of his addicted life and needed God. Many prayed for and showed the love of Jesus that day.
That's what it's all about.
That's it.
Yep.
That's cool.
You can't get a better story than that.
Yeah, not at all.
Somebody's going to heaven.
All of Serve Day and all the 35,000 people served for this one 50-year-old man. It was worth it.
And that's Louisiana.
Yep.
Melanson.
Louisiana.
Melanson, Louisiana. We're getting real with the names here.
I can pronounce that one. Forget Anianarada. I can pronounce Louisiana now.
That's funny.
Cool. One of my other favorite ones was Reimagine Church. These guys killed it in Colorado.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
It was awesome. Like, so many amazing stories from Colorado this year. But this was the only project that I saw that did this, but they served families who were refugees, which is amazing. And it was a small project. They had 4 people who served a family of 6, which is so beautiful to me that was their whole day was intimate like that.
Yeah.
And it says that this family had gone through some trauma. They saw another family die in Congo. They've been living in a refugee camp.
Catch that in Congo. They're in Africa and they see this atrocity happen. Yeah.
And they lived in a refugee camp for 10 years. It said they speak no English to this day. Have no idea how America works, no faith system, no family, no friends. They need people to trust, people to take time to slowly take time to communicate and show them the wonderful things God has done around them and to help them with practical life. And they said today on Serve Day, at one point, the man of the family, felt open enough to ask for help and to hold hands with my son while walking and to ask questions because they couldn't communicate through words, but this dude felt invited and comfortable and peace enough to be able to just connect in that way. And
that's cool.
To me, like out of all of it, that's taking time to listen and not sometimes there's a lot going on and you get in the motions and you get in the groove and you get in the grind. But I just found that this was such a beautiful thing that happened. Like,
and it's not like it's a hit and run. Like with these guys, I know Pastor Billy is not, wow, chalk that one up. We got a good one. That's cool. We got our story mentioned on a serve brew. Woo-hoo. That's not the heart. The heart is now, man, we've got an opportunity with this family to continue to walk with them. And I think that's what the church ought to be. As great as it is when somebody says on serve day, I'm going to pray the sinner's prayer and I'm going to give my life to Christ and I'm on my way to heaven. Right. That's great. But most of the time we're not going to get that. We're going to get the opening to a door, which is why you serve a physical need or a felt need. So you can get the open door to insert the gospel. That may take time. With these guys, I can't imagine that. Like, just pick me up and transplant me to another country. I'm already hurting and I can't speak the language or know how to live there.
And a grown man, like he's the dad of a family,
trying to take care.
Oof, that was beautiful.
Thank you, Pastor Billy. That was incredible.
That was beautiful.
And Colorado, like you said, Colorado was killing it this year. I know up on the north side of this, that was in Colorado Springs. Up on the north side of Denver, there was some guys got together. Really cool. I don't know if that's one of the stories you're going to share, but just Colorado was all over it. No, go ahead.
Sure.
Well, it's up in Loveland. Jonathan Wiggins is they pastors Res Church up there, and they a lot of great individual stories. But to me, one of the greatest stories, and they're coming from my angle of working with churches all the time, seeing Pastor Jonathan. He basically corralled like 7, 8, 9 other churches in northern Colorado to say, "Hey, let's all do this together." And they didn't even all sign up. They just kind of all got together and did something.
Yeah.
And but to me, that's the win right there. Not forget, but set aside for a second all the different stories of people they reached. The fact that churches got together and said, let's do this, it says so much more to the community that, hey, churches, maybe there's something to it. They've seen us fight for so long, seen us compete, and to see that all set aside. It wasn't like they're all the same denomination. It was churches, all the different kinds, working together. And that's just, Pastor Jonathan is incredible, and I think the way that those guys came together is a big win. Good example.
Yeah, that's all it's all about.
Yep.
Something else that's really cool is we had a lot of churches who hadn't even launched officially, like launch teams getting together doing stuff.
They're not a church yet, but they're a church.
This one says we're still building our launch team to plant a church this September. It says someone came out to our event as this was their first experience with our church and joined our team on the spot. He says, I knew we would make an impact on the community, but I wasn't thinking our launch team would grow today. And that's Pastor Chris Shinnick in Niceville, Florida,
down in the
Manna Church.
All right, so Manna Church, just a little background there. They're out in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Pastor Michael Fletcher, and great group. In fact, they sent Chris out. Yeah, he's planting in the Panhandle of Florida. But at the same time, they also sent a guy out to Hawaii to plant a church, who I'm trying really hard to get to know real well so we can go visit him in Hawaii. Just saying. But they sent, to me, that it speaks so much of a church that's reproducing, and they're sending out the kind of guys that are seeing this kind of stuff. I've talked to Pastor Chris before, and he's a guy of faith, and just, it doesn't surprise me this happened for them, but it's really cool to see.
And I love it because, like, honestly, you talk to a lot of church planners sometimes, and they're 100% zoned in. I've just got to get Sundays built. I've got to get everything in order. And so for a church to be like, no, like, we're going to put a little bit of resource into this. It's never too early to start. Like, this is what it's about. Well, you build the church outside of it.
And something you've said a lot is, like, outreach. Sure, it can be something to get your name out there as a church, but and maybe people you serve will come to your church and all that. Great. This is a different twist on it, where they're getting out there as a church, and somebody said, I want to serve with you. Yeah. Is really cool. And I think, there's obviously more to outreach than here's a great way to build your team, build your church. There's got, and this could be a rabbit chasing, but there's got to be a component where you're reaching out to people who could never get back to you. Mm-hmm. That's got to be part of it.
That's the beauty of it.
So
it can't always be a marketing thing. I get there is spreading the word, but
it should. If you do outreach right, it will be marketing. You can't help it.
But that's the motive is I just want to love people.
I don't think Jesus had a marketing program. He changed lives, and then people wanted to follow because he changed their life.
Exactly. Anyway.
Not that marketing's bad.
No, it's not.
There's a good way to do it.
I don't think it's the goal.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, moving on.
You going to Brandon Barber now?
I'm going to Brandon Barber.
My
Yeah.
man.
Actually, one of my girls, Megan Williams, is hanging out there, just volunteering, helping with outreach. So shout out, Meg. So Elevate Church, they said they've been doing like when prisoners get released, they do like a welcome kind of thing. Just they're like the first people when they get off the bus. They're like the first ones there. I know this from Megan. And they just give them, I guess it's just kind of like hygiene stuff, like welcome back, like here's some next steps for you, come to our church kind of thing. And not promoting the church, but it's just you have family here.
Yeah.
But they said one of the homeless men recognized us from our jail ministry. He was out now back in the streets and didn't know our church was so close, but he said he'll be at church with us on Sunday. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Brandon has a lot of sense. If any of you are like into prison ministry ideas or feel like God's nudging you that way, that would be a guy to get in touch with. He's grown up with it. His dad was doing prison ministry for a long time, and you talk about having somebody who has a good sense for not just how to do big numbers in prison, but how to actually make an impact on a family of a prisoner and a prisoner himself. Gold, Brandon Barber. Brandon Barber.
That's it. Cool. I'm going through, and there's just more churches who are like, hey, we're launching in September. We're launching soon. We got more people. That was City Reach Church in Endicott, New York. They had a team that went out. They did some stuff at the Boys and Girls Club, which that was popular. I saw several churches who partnered with the Boys and Girls Club, which my girl Raquel Archer, works for the Boys and Girls Club in Dallas, and just they're doing some really great things. They're great to partner with.
Jump on that real quick. When you talk about Boys and Girls Club or working with an organization that's already out there doing something, what's the why should you do it? What's the wins in it? Are there any drawbacks to doing it that way?
I think make sure we talked about this on one of our grow calls actually, was just making sure that their values don't conflict with what your church believes. Like they're not harboring anything that's morally unsound. I think if they're not faith-based but you are, I think that's fine. Just pray about your own convictions on it, but just so long as everything they're doing is morally sound. And it's cool to me partnering with places like that, especially if you're a newer church or even if you're not, like it's great because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. If they're already doing something awesome, they have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the thought, they've laid the groundwork, it's easy for a church to come in and just say, hey, we see what you're doing. We want to help build relationship. And honestly, there's been a lot of times where you get to minister not only to the people that they're reaching, but you're ministering to them as a staff or a group. And then that can also change their mentality. So I think it's a very strategic thing, and it's one of the easiest, not because it's easy you do it, but it's a very big open door. They need help. You want to give help. There's
it's a smart use of your energy because you're going with people who already they know how to work with this. Working with
they're experts.
Like Relay for Life. They know how to do those things. If we can come in and say, hey, we're going to serve you guys and help your event be better.
Yeah.
It's just a win. Our energy goes further rather than say we got to do this on our own. We're going to do ministry alone. We're going to do this our way. We can't partner with somebody because they're not faith-based. Well, I don't think that's really the best use of your.
Right. So definitely a big win. The same thing, like Boys and Girls Club, there's a lot of Habitat for Humanity partnerships. Just a lot of there's great things going on out there that we can be part of and make better,
That's good, especially for churches that are smaller and newer, like City Reach. Those guys, I don't know how old they are. You said that was one that hadn't planted yet?
Yes, that's what we're planning our church in September.
I mean, it's a City Reach, they're urban, so finding, you don't have to have such a huge budget if you can find other people that are doing something like that. And man, just the building of relationship that it gives you, it's just smart. Smart.
It is, indeed. And I mean, honestly, I work at Church of the Highlands, and partnerships are huge.
Yeah.
So even no matter what size the church is, we know that we need each other because we're all after the city. We're all after the same people. And so we want to show unity even.
Well, that's something Pastor Chris will probably tell you in a hurry is like, just because you have some money doesn't mean you need to waste it. He doesn't do that.
It's true.
Come on.
It's true.
Steward it.
Okay, this is a fun story. Daybreak Church in
the beard.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Beard flow.
Wisconsin.
This guy, hey, if you haven't seen him, you should look at him on Instagram. He's got a beard like this. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yep. We should do serve beard oil.
Beard syrup.
Serve brew, serve beard oil.
We have a serve beard.
Y'all can vote on that later. So these guys actually killed it. They had a lot of projects that they sent in, but one of their stories is kind of cool, or really cool. It says, a mother who has struggled with great anxiety in our church helped serve and pushed past her anxiety. She ended up getting to meet a young single mom in the community and led her in the prayer to receive Jesus. And they quoted her, God showed me that my fears have been kidnapping my faith, have been keeping my faith squashed, and that people around me need me to be available to share Jesus. I got to get over this anxiety thing to love people better.
Golly.
Wow. So that's where Inception comes into play. Like when we're creating opportunities to serve the community, we're also reaching people in our team to get past their fears and find themselves and their dreams, and that's incredible. Huge. It's incredible.
That's huge, and that's in a church that it's not all easy going. Like that's a huge win. That's huge.
Yeah.
Britt's been fighting that. Pastor Britt has been fighting just all kinds of stupid stuff to be able to plant that church and get it up and running, and to see something like that be a win. I'm telling you, church, it's a terrible motive in it to be just say we want to grow our church, but we want to impact our communities while you're pastoring the church. You're not pastoring the church, you're pastoring a community, so why would you not get out in the community? Look at what it did there. I mean, it helped his, anyway. Soapbox.
Soapbox. Yeah. That's what this is. So
that's what this is. Serve Brew is a big soapbox for outreach.
But he said we had 2/3 of our church come, and even during a massive thunderstorm.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of the radar coming that morning. He's like, "This is perfect."
So that's cool.
Big old red circle coming right at him.
That was actually in his feedback of what could have gone better. Was we had 2/3, but we would have had more if the thunderstorm. Yeah. Now, like, wait, that's a win, right?
Yeah,
you're saying that's not
still a win.
That's a thing. Okay.
We could have had better weather. Now we'll work on that for you, cool. Brett. Next year, Tori will give you better weather.
Launched in a snowstorm?
Oh, there's a few of them that have tried to launch their church.
Yeah.
I mean, you have launch day set, and snowstorm hits, and you do it anyway.
It's crazy.
Johnny Merrill.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Bless him. This dude killed it on Sunday.
We got a picture.
Like,
we got a picture of him. Let me find it.
Every other picture on Instagram was from this guy, Corey Williams, Impact Church, Savannah, Georgia. We're about to do a little screen share. But real quick, I'm going to share one of his highlights. They had a mission team representing in Nicaragua actually on this day too. And he said our team was able to see 350 souls saved directly during our portion of ministry while serving in Nicaragua. Which that's cool. That's a lot. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
But the cool thing, one of my favorite parts of his story, he had so many, but this one, he went, I can read it. He visited his sheriff like the week before serve day to see how they could serve him, and mentioned that they were going to come to the park and serve them food and stuff. And the sheriff basically told him that he was going to come serve with him. And I guess it was kind of like, man, this guy's so busy. He almost didn't believe that the sheriff was going to show up. But you can see on the picture, look how sweet. Like
that's the sheriff holding the kid.
Is like loving on these babies, and just this is one of the most beautiful pictures, and such a timely thing, I think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you see so much junk going on, with law enforcement and people questioning this and that, and race tensions and all that, when you see a picture like that, it to me, it says, you know what, that's not the whole story. Yeah, there's tension. It's real. Yeah. No question. There are really people who are missing a dad right now. All that's real. I get it. But that's not the whole story. There's stuff like this going on, what Corey's seeing in Savannah, Georgia. There is a real thing. And, there's a lot more could be said about it. That's not the point of this, but enough to say, if the church will stand up and love people regardless of their situation, whether it's anger or hurt or whatever, if we'll just stand up and love people with the love of Jesus in the middle of that hurt, we can get Jesus in, and Jesus is the only answer for that whole problem. So it actually sounds so simple, and it really is. It's just if the church would just be the church,
it's becoming real though. Like
it is.
There's more context behind what you say.
Yeah.
It's just becoming real. Like we always think about it here. Pastor Chris always talks about like basically the darker the world's getting, the brighter the church is going to be able to shine. And so it's like you can freak out, or you can be like, this is my shining moment as part of the church.
Yep.
So that's cool.
For reals.
it's getting more beautiful, depths and heights proportionate to one another.
You kind of run deep. You just drop something out like that, and that was a nice face.
Deep and wide.
I got wide, she got deep.
Okay. Well, on that note, anyway, moving to my next.
Who else we got?
If you're like, I can keep going, or
I'll pull up stories or pictures when I see them matching.
To the chill. I have like a couple more of fun ones we can hang out with. Church with You, Pastor Eric Bradley in Enterprise, Alabama.
Enterprise.
You have to say it with an accent. Y'all, since I moved here, I have an accent.
She does.
I gotta get rid of that.
Yeah. I don't.
Church with You, they did something cool. They said that they contacted, there's like a baseball event that goes on in their city, and usually this event they don't really allow churches to come in and help, but this time they did allow these guys to come in and help, and they said their youth got involved. They were like doing the announcing of the game. Like they said all the adults were a little too shy from their team to do it, but the students were like, yeah, let me do this. Started announcing, and they were able to do concessions and all this stuff. But they said that they invited the participants of the baseball tournament to their church service, and around 30 people attended on Sunday.
Wow.
And it says 13 people gave their heart to Christ Sunday morning.
Wow.
He said, I don't think there's anything better we could have helped with on Serve Day than positively affecting lives for eternity.
That's so cool.
And they had a picture. I don't know if we had it. We posted it, but it was so cool. One of their team members was driving the golf cart, and there was this adorable, like, elderly man with his baseball glove. He was like so excited to go to the game. Like, that's so cool.
That is cool.
And then there's just other churches, Community Fellowship, Michael Harrelson in Virginia. Harrison, sorry.
Harrison.
Did I say Harrelson?
That's one you did, but
sorry,
that's all right. Like
my
Woody.
bad. I always get his name wrong.
You thought he was Woody Harrelson. He kind of looks like Woody Harrelson.
Anyway.
You owe me, Michael.
They just said they were able to get into 2 new communities where they weren't able to in the past. So just like serving just knocks down walls, and it's like people don't know how to respond to it.
And here's the thing, that's a church that serves all the time. Yeah. They're like, he's got a lot of ministry they do, which I think would be a blast. This ministry is they serve on racetracks like NASCAR, go to the races and do the chaplain work and stuff like that. Let me pull up a picture. I don't know if you've got this story, but this is one in Vermont, which I know people think that Vermont is void of church, but this church, come on, screen share, where you at? Here we go. They we got it. Here we go. Come on. Yeah. All right. So there's a lot going on in this picture. I love this picture for a whole lot of reasons. I would love to interview the guy in the white T-shirt. I think that'd be a blast. But I was messing with Chris Gepner about that, and Chris Gepner is a pastor. He planted a church. He's from Florida, from the beach in Florida. Went and planted a church a few years ago in Vermont, right on the border with New Hampshire, up there where it is cold. And God's just been blessing them, and a big part of it, Chris would tell you, is because they serve. They get out and serve their community, and they are actually in the middle of finishing up their building. They're moving into a permanent facility, and it is the first church building structure built in Vermont, in the state, from the ground up in the last, I think he said 85 years. There hasn't been a new church building built in Vermont, and that's just the favor they're having. What they're seeing happen. And in fact, this is what I was wanting to show this picture. In the picture in the middle, if you look right down the middle, there's a guy in a kind of a bright yellow vest. Everybody else is in orange. He's in a bright yellow vest. That is the chief of police for their city. Out there, not being served or anything like that. He's out there just working with the rest of them and doing I don't know what they're doing, their road work or something, but just getting out there serving and getting after it. And I think that says a lot. What you find is it's not a lot of things get equalized or leveled out when you serve. Like the mayor will come out sometimes in the smaller towns, yes, but come out and serve alongside with you. Or people who don't have money to give, or they don't have much, but man, they can get out there and pick up trash with you. Mm-hmm. That's a cool thing to be able to give them some dignity to say, you know what, I don't have to just be a recipient. I have the opportunity to serve alongside. Yeah, I think it's cool.
I love that. It's fun.
Yes, it is.
It is fun to help people find their sweet spot.
Can I hit one more and let you talk about it?
Huh?
Can I hit one more and let you talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up a picture.
What?
I'm gonna pull up the picture and make you talk about it. It's from Destiny Harvest in Baltimore area. Let me find it. Find it. It's a. Sorry, we're laughing at some of these pictures. They're just great. We'll get to them. But come on, where are you at? Stephen Chandler is pastor of this church, Destiny Harvest. And just this is kind of a little bit flashing back to what we talked about a second ago. Come on, picture. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. Screen share.
Well, while I'm getting
to it, I should have had it ready. Yeah, you can wait. It's coming now. Here it is.
Here we go.
There it is.
Okay.
So I was going to make you talk about it. I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm keeping this one. Thing I like about this, with what we were talking about before, with all the current events and all that stuff, this picture says so much to me that, again, it's not the whole story. There is a lot more going on than what you hear in the news. Mm-hmm. And all the news is real. Get it? I'm good. Not good with it, but I mean, that's real. Yeah. I accept that. But this says there's more going on. There's more to it. And it's just, get out and serve. Serving levels so much out. It just takes out a lot of the labels and tags and all that. If we just get out and serve other people, even if we don't agree with them, even if we don't know everything about them, it opens a conversation where you can begin to start to get to know where somebody's coming from. How many times have you sat down with somebody that you didn't know and you had some questions about, or maybe you didn't like, but then something happened where you hear their story, boom, it just changed.
Changes. You have a whole different context, a whole different framework.
Yep.
And there's something healing about it,
That's why I think serving, like for you say serving isn't just getting out and just handing stuff out or just serving a meal, even though that's part of it. But there's more to it, and a big part of that's listening.
It's an exchange. Yeah. Like, it's not a one-way street. And I think sometimes we do get that mixed up. Like, we're going to go be the do-gooders. But no, you're going to be a grace exchange.
And how do you do that? So get practical on that for a second. How do you do that and make it not just me handing out a popsicle or a bottle of water or something? How do you go beyond that?
I think it starts with leadership. Like, I've been, in leadership since I was 15 doing outreach and stuff. And honestly, of course, I had Pastor Dino teaching and JP and all those great people, and I've learned so much from them. Just like how to be engaged with people as a leader, and not being caught up in the tasks. And I know that's simple, and we always say it like it's about people, but really one of my most defining moments, I was at a nursing home, and the activities director, I don't even think she was a believer at all, but she looked at me and was like, okay, your group's coming in, and you want to engage with the people here, the residents. And she taught me, get on your knees, get eye level with people. And this woman, her name was Holly, and she got on her knees, and there was a lady who had, dementia, really bad. She couldn't talk. She used to be a ballerina. But Holly got in this lady's face and started sticking her tongue out at her and, making faces. And I was like, oh, that's so disrespectful. What are you doing? Oh, my gosh. But the lady would be responsive, and she would make faces back. And I was like, that was a game changer for me as a 15-year-old to be like, I'm not just here to distribute anything. Right. I am here to engage. And so that changed my whole perspective. And it's still a battle, because as a leader, you are carrying the weight of every experience. But to me, the best days are the ones where I create margin, because I need to find someone's name. Before I help anyone else find someone's name or hear anyone else's story, I have to hear it, because that carries my purpose, and then it spreads. And so I think it's important for every lead pastor, every outreach director, anybody who's in any role needs to be the ones on their knees, because that's where it spreads. And so the exchange part of that is just being engaged and realizing that we're not the saviors. We don't need the hero mentality. We don't need to show off. I don't care if you use the hashtag. I don't care if you wear the serve shirt. It's about finding meaning and honestly the art of listening. Everybody needs to just tell their story. Everybody needs to be heard more than they need a handout. So I just think harboring those
distribution. A successful outreach project isn't we got everything distributed without a hitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. Great. That's a win. But you have all the more follow-up work you got to do after that. But if you in the distribution, if you're engaging as you hand something to them, look them in the eye, make a face. I could do that outreach ministry, face making.
It's true.
I think it's great, and like you're just the whole thing of engaging instead of just distributing. That's huge.
Because it's toxic to just distribute. Like you can hinder if your job is
true.
to run in, be the hero, leave. Like no, if you're truly engaged and you're building a long-term something, and maybe you're not going to ever see this person again, but you engaged enough to where they felt the dignity of I'm cared for, I'm heard, I'm a person. And again, the whole mentality of when you serve, you're just going out and looking for the treasures who are buried in the hopelessness, in the darkness, in the dirt. And so when you find that person, what do you do when you find a treasure? You don't you celebrate it. You make it a big deal. You look at it, you stare at it, you pay attention to it. And for me, I don't know if anybody saw, but I posted right before serve day, just let this not be motion, just going through the motions. Look for the meaning. When you're looking at someone, be able to recognize Jesus staring back at you. And how would you react to Jesus staring you in the eyes? You would have time to hear them.
You've done it to the least of these. You've done it to me, so it really is looking in his eyes.
Exactly, it literally really is. I've felt the goosebumps on that many times. Like, oh crap, Jesus is staring at me. Can I confess to you right now? Well, you don't even have my sins.
He kind of knows.
I don't go that crazy with it, but anyway.
Cool. What else you got?
Okay, just a few more, just for kicks. Pastor Felix Bobo.
Come on, California representing.
Valley, California. Something, they did some cool stuff. And again, they said they're officially launching in January. But it said that they wanted to do something that made an impact on their community. And it said that they served one of the busiest fire stations with a gift basket. And they were able to just love on a handful of these guys, and they said it actually turned into a monthly serve. So now they're committed to go back once a month and love on the firemen. And
that one is close to home.
Yeah,
because we got
Granddad's a fireman, Uncle Danny. But I thought that was cool because we really want to encourage everybody that Serve Day is not just a day. The point of this is to celebrate and just hopefully spark something in people to find what they want to do, and then help them do more. Like, this should be a regular thing. This is to establish a culture and a presence. And then the next thing I have on this list is New Life Church in Port Orange, Florida. Pastor Steve Johnson. One of his quotes, he said, "We're a church of 100 and have not been able to develop a culture of serving. So we felt the fact that on our very first attempt, we were able to get 20 people to come out and join on this great day. It was a big win for us," basically, he said. So just using this is something that is just use this as a catalyst to build a culture, to do something that's amazing, but do it every day. Day every day.
It's the start. And everybody, if you're breathing and you are a follower of Christ, then outreach is your thing. It may not be, I'm going to go and cut a widow's grass every Saturday. That may not be your thing, but we're not on this planet to do much of anything besides reach out to people, reach out and help people get to heaven. And so that's really what outreach is. I mean, I get it. Maybe some people, they're not red shirt everyday guys, but we should be serving every day. It is serve day every day.
Right.
The lady at Popeyes that cannot figure out that you want dark, spicy, not white, mild. You can serve her by having grace, or you can get mad and set things back a little further for her, And I'm guilty. I mean, the reason I had that example is because it's kind of fresh.
Right.
But, it's it's really important that I have my dark, mild.
Real life story.
But it's that every day. It's how we walk through life. God gives us divine encounters. And Pastor Dino, one of the things that he has pumped into us so much over the last all your life is this: be interruptible. And you don't get so busy. I got to get my gas pumped, or I got to get from here to there. Don't get so busy that you can't handle an interruption with grace. And most of what he said, most of Jesus' miracles happened while he's on the way to somewhere else. Somebody interrupted him. So
I think we have to encourage that for people. And something that I pray through all the time is we create opportunities for people to serve, and that's the feel it out, come taste the waters, come find your place. but I also want to encourage people that it's not just a box. Like, it's not just, let me go to First Saturday, check that off my list. Now I can go home and be a jerk to the Popeyes lady. And honestly, like, I can be that way. I work 24/7 as an outreach leader. And so sometimes when I get home, I don't have any more energy to be like this outgoing, loving person. And so that's something that I personally work through, but also I think about for other people. Like, I want to architect atmospheres for people where it's an everyday thing. It's who I am. I'm a servant. I'm not someone who serves on outreach and wears the shirt. Like, this is who I am at the core of my being.
Say that again. That was rich.
I can't say that again. You'll have to watch it on YouTube.
I'm not somebody who wears a shirt and serves. I am a servant.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to do that all the time. But I just want to be careful when we're talking to people like, oh, are you an outreach person or are you not? No, you are a servant. Yeah. Because there's a difference between outreach and serving. And part of the culture, I almost don't know about outreach, like that term. Pastor Jimmy and I talk about that sometimes. Like, just being careful that we're not boxing it out for people. If you're interacting with someone, it's your job to be loving towards them. So if I had a next step for people to encourage you guys, I would say, if you haven't already, read the book Love Does by Bob Goff. Just the whole mentality that he has is like, every moment of every day is, what opportunity can I say yes to be love in action and love people. His stories are bizarre. Like, brother is crazy, but it's just because he loves life and he loves people, and like, he doesn't compartmentalize. There's no, I did my good deed, check it off. It's all day, every day, and it's very challenging, but it's beautiful. So that's just something. My heart is to keep Serve Day as a very pure thing.
Let me throw something else up here. Let me see if I can actually pull this off, because there is I don't know if I can get this one to show up. I may just read the verse to you, but.
Do you want to screen share?
No, here it is. That's what I was trying to do. Screen share it. I pulled it up. And now I can't read it because it's too.
I can read it.
Yeah, go for it.
No, you can read it.
All right. So it's Philippians 2:5. Says it starts with 5. It says, you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he didn't think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges, and he took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being, and then humbled himself to the death on the cross. I think with that, the amazing part to me with that is I look at movies like The Passion of the Christ and stuff like that, and I think, wow, how brutal was the death on the cross and how horrible that was. But the most horrible part of that for Christ was he had divine privileges and he set them down to become one of us. Yeah. So in light of that, how do I really have a problem with Popeyes giving me the wrong order? How do I really have a problem with a pickle being on my burger? Because pickles are from hell. How does that really happen? And it's when I forget the first part of that, you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. If we have that, and it's not easy, we're not going to be perfect with it, but if we fight for that, I want to keep the same attitude Christ had. I will lay down my privileges and my rights so that I can serve somebody else.
Right.
Then we get to change the world.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
That's
cool.
That's cool.
What? So
easier said than done.
Yeah. So there was a couple we talked about. You had a few things for somebody at this point. Maybe they did Serve Day. Maybe they didn't. They're watching this and saying, "Man, I got to get in next year." Yeah. Serve Day 17 is like July 15th.
15th, 2017.
What do they need? What?
Okay.
But really, like right now, today, what should I be doing?
Okay. So honestly, like Serve Day, sounds like one day thing, but really our heart is to create conversations. So with people who have a heart to reach their cities. So one of the easiest ways to do that is to sign up for Serve Day, which is open, serveday16.com right now. It's going to change to 17, but it'll all be the same. You can sign up, and that gives us a way to stay in contact with you. We have a share site on there, so all these little interview videos that we do or ideas that we get from other churches, articles, they go on there. And then if you have ideas, going to Servolution on Facebook or Instagram, that's a great way to interact, not only with us as a team, but with each other. We would love to see conversations. If you have a question or you have an idea and you just want to throw it out there, post it up on the Facebook page. Yeah. That's huge, and like, we're accessible. I think if you've signed up for Serve Day, you probably got an email from me or you. We've sent out some notifications, but we want to be accessible and we want to help connect you to each other. So between serveday16.com, Servolution on Facebook and Instagram. Really just Instagram. See, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay.
Instagram.
I need to start cake.
It's Servolution everywhere, though. Basically, you go to social media, you find Servolution.
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, all of it. We're trying to do Snapchat. I'm really not good at that. Neither are you guys. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I just didn't do good because I didn't find it. But so really, like, yes, we have a date for Serve Day 17. You can mark your calendar. Like I said, sign up now. That's great. It's July 15th, 2017. But now we want to focus energy on Serve Day every day, because we don't want it to be a culture of this is a one-year event and we forget about it for the rest of the year. To me, the conversations are picking up like crazy right now. This is the most important time to me, is every other day, every 364 other days, Serve Day every day. So if you want to share ideas, have a talk, we're going to keep doing Serve Brews up until Jesus comes back, hopefully. Who knows?
Well, that Facebook is a great place to have a conversation. I mean, posting on Instagram and Twitter is great. It's a push.
Yeah.
Most of the time you can like it and have comments and stuff, but to have a conversation, Facebook is a place to really just jump on there, drop in an idea. Maybe you hate Facebook. I'm sorry, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just suck it up and get in there and have a conversation, and pick that one page to be where you go on Facebook.
Right.
And talk about it.
And then also, like, regionally, if you we haven't really talked about the details of all this, but sorry, should I not?
No, you can.
Well, just like
they're watching this, they should be privileged.
Or I could just keep it quiet and keep
it leave it quiet.
Well, okay, so as a lot of you guys know, if you're part of ARC, like Dad does a lot of regional meetups with pastors in different areas, and just to create unity and relationship, because we need each other. You don't do ministry alone. So part of our heart is to just kind of connect you guys to each other as you're working to serve your cities. And so we're going to reach out to you guys and hopefully just do some things where we can have conversations based on your vicinity, and how we want to learn from you and just create environments to exchange ideas with each other. So if you have thoughts on that, give us some feedback, but we'll be in touch with you. And really just read Bob Goff's book.
Read Bob Goff's book. I think the other thing you touched on is this, don't just let this be a hit and run.
Please don't.
Go back to the people that you served. And, if you're the outreach leader, go back to those people who came and served and say, hey, let's go back to that neighborhood. It's not Serve Day on July 30th.
Right.
But it's okay. You can go back out, whatever. Yeah. Just do some staying engaged. That's one of the things that you hear a lot about with church planting, but with missions, with outreach, all of it is the feedback from the community a lot of times is, even in good stories, they say, well, I didn't think they were really for real because I didn't think they were going to stick around. But that staying there could be inconsistent.
Yeah.
That is the gentle tongue breaking a bone.
Right.
And we got some bones that we need to break.
Yes,
and
we do.
If we just be consistent, that was a great catalyst last Saturday. But man, let's go out and keep doing it. Keep going to the same place.
And I would say, like, locally, our team here, we just had a debrief meeting about an hour ago, and there's a lot of footwork to go. We had a gazillion people serving, and now we've given them a chance to express, hey, we saw that you had a great time. Like, did anything pull your heartstrings? Is there a space that we can help you get plugged into? And so we have teams who are making phone calls, sending emails, doing rally nights, interest nights, like just giving people a chance, even encouraging people. If you found a passion and you don't see a team that you can plug into already, go through small group leadership training, start an outreach small group, fly with your idea. And I know we've touched on this before in previous talks, but like as far as allowing people to do small groups, it's cool because it gives you a chance to give them a short-term commitment level, so they can say, all right, I've got 6 weeks or whatever, however long it is, to test out an idea. And then just as long as they're not going to be crazy and do something awful morally, you get to say yes. You don't have to be the person sustaining it. They take the lead on it. They gather the people and the resources and they do it. If they love it, they can keep on. If they don't, then okay, you've committed to 6 weeks. And so there's a lot of cool next steps for people and ways to get them involved and ways to celebrate them. And I think really if you're a part of Serve Day, now is game on for you, big time. Like take a rest, take a break, breathe, and then kick it, And
it's like you have with doing it that way, you'll come up with your people in your church will come up with more and better ideas than you could possibly come up with as a pastor and a team.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't come up with all
of it. You to create it all and sustain it all, and you're not meant to. God didn't give you those dreams; He gave them dreams.
Yep.
So. And
we should wrap this up probably, but I would just like to suggest that you don't forget the value of prayer. It's not just a way to start something off.
Yeah.
But really going back through the stories from your own outreaches, and you say, "Man, that was a great win." Well, how many times have you heard a great win that 6 months later wasn't still a great win? Let's pray for those, because if I'm the enemy, I'm a bullseye target those people that were the great win story that fired everybody up. I'm gonna try to take them down. So let's cover them in prayer. Let's cover our people in prayer, and really, I cannot encourage enough just praying for your community.
Right.
That really matters. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And so, I'll just can we do that? This is your serve, Brew, but I'm jumping in. Can you just pray for everybody? Lead in prayer? Yeah. Who are you?
Yeah. I know we've been praying for everybody.
Yeah.
A lot. Big time. All right. So bow your heads, close your eyes if you're watching. Okay. Jesus, we just thank you so much for each and every person, God, that may ever see this video, may ever not. Just the people who have a heart to make a difference in their community, and ones who maybe don't even know it yet. God, we just pray that you will give us a heart of unity and harmony and humility, Lord. Just let us keep our eyes open. Let us be calm enough to hear you. Let us have time to just pause and listen to your spirit. I pray that you just help us to remember that every person is a treasure. If it's someone who's on our team, left and right, God, no matter where they're coming from, let us just see you inside of them. And I pray that as leaders, you just give us wisdom, give us just insight that's fresh, God. Just give us purity in our love, that we don't ever just go through the motions or do anything out of our own human effort, but that is something that is led by your spirit. And I know the world is hurting right now more than ever. And I just thank you that you've chosen us to be part of the answer. And I just pray that we remember that it's your spirit that makes healing happen. I just thank you for that invitation, and thank you for what you're about to do in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right, world. See you on Facebook. Okay, bye.